Have you ever really looked at a simple pill capsule and just wondered, how in the world is this thing made? It seems so simple, right? But this tiny object is actually the end result of an incredibly precise, really complex journey. It's a whole story of engineering and chemistry, all designed to get medicine to us safely. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that whole story. Welcome. We're diving deep into the journey of a capsule, following it from the very first raw materials all the way to the finished product you see in the pharmacy.
All right, so here's our roadmap. We've broken this down into 5 key stages. First up, we'll check out the blueprint. What's even in a capsule? Then we'll get into crafting the shell. After that, the really crucial part, the filling process. Then we'll look at the finishing and sealing. And finally, every capsule has to pass the ultimate quality test. Let's get into it.
So, first things first, before we can even talk about how it's made, we really need to understand what a capsule is. At its heart, a capsule is basically a clever little container. Its main job is to hold a drug inside a shell, and the whole point is to make sure that every single time you're getting one precise dose. It makes medicine predictable, safe, and a whole lot easier to take. Now, you've probably noticed that capsules come in two main flavors. Over on the left, you've got your classic hard gelatin capsule. That's the one made of two pieces that fit together, a cap and a body. It's perfect for things like dry powders. But then on the right, you have the soft gel. It's a single sealed shell, and it's what you need when you're dealing with liquids or oils, like in a lot of vitamins. So, what's that shell made of? The star ingredient is gelatin, which is a protein that comes from animal collagen. And there are two main types they use, type A and type B, depending on how it's processed. But it's not just gelatin. They mix in other things like plasticizers. You can think of those as softers, like glycerin, that make the shell flexible, plus purified water, and of course, sometimes a little color to make them look distinct. All right, we've got our gelatin soup ready. Now for the really cool part. How does that mixture get turned into the perfect little capsule shape we all know? For the hard shells, it's like this incredible automated dance. First, hundreds of stainless steel pins dip into the warm gelatin. Then they start spinning, which is absolutely crucial for getting a perfectly even coat. From there, they travel through these long drying tunnels. Once they're dry, machines carefully strip the shells off, trim them to the perfect length, and join the cap and body together. And this is happening at a massive scale. We're talking tens of thousands of shells made every hour. And this is where things get really interesting when you see them side by side. On the left, there are those hard shells we just talked about, made in advance, ready to be filled. But on the right, that's a rotary die. And that's the secret to making soft gels, where the shell isn't made ahead of time. No, it's formed, filled, and sealed all at once. It's a completely different approach. Okay, we have our shells. Now for what I think is the main event, getting the actual medicine inside. And this part has to be unbelievably accurate, down to the microgram. For soft gels, all the magic happens with something called the rotary die method. Just try to picture this. You've got two big ribbons of warm gelatin rolling towards each other. At the exact moment they meet between these rotating dies, a pump shoots a precise amount of liquid fill in between them. The pressure and heat from the dies then instantly form the pill shape and seal it shut. Form, fill, and seal, all in one go. It's an absolutely brilliant piece of engineering. Now, filling hard capsules is a totally different ballgame. There are a few different ways to do it with crazy precision. You've got the auger method, which uses a spinning screw to dose out the powder. There's the tamping finger method, which actually packs the powder into a tight little plug before popping it into the capsule. And then there's the dosator principle, which uses a tiny tube and piston to grab and deposit the exact right amount. And this technology is always getting better. According to an industry expert, Ben Reed, the process for liquid-filled capsules has become so streamlined that it actually speeds up the whole timeline for developing new medicines compared to powders or tablets. That's a huge deal. So the capsule is filled. Awesome. But we're not done yet. Not by a long shot. Now come the critical finishing touches to make sure that product is stable and totally secure. Right after they're made, the capsules are still a bit soft, so they have to be dried to get rid of any extra moisture. This is a super delicate process. They might tumble around in dryers and then get spread out on trays in special rooms where the temperature and humidity are obsessively controlled. This step is what gives the capsule its final strength and stability. Next up, sealing the deal. For hard capsules, they often add a tiny gelatin ribbon right over the seam. It's called banding. and it makes them tamper evident. For soft shells, remember that seal was created by the rotary die itself. And finally, as an optional step, many capsules get printed with edible ink. That's how you know the brand or the dosage.
And at last, the capsules get their final armor, packaging. Here you see them being put into blister packs, which are great at protecting them from the elements, like humidity, right up until you need one.
But hold on, before a single one of these can leave the factory, it has to pass a whole series of tough final exams to prove it's absolutely perfect. Because let's be real, in a process this complex, with so many steps, things can and do go wrong. So what happens when it isn't perfect? And this is fantastic. It shows you exactly that. Every single potential problem, from air bubbles in the shell to a leaky seal, can be traced back to a very specific moment in the process. See? An air bubble means something went wrong way back in the gelatin prep stage. This is why quality control is built into every single step, not just tacked on at the end. So, what does this final exam actually look like? Well, it's a whole battery of tests. They check weight variation to make absolutely sure the dose is right. They run disintegration tests to see how fast the shell breaks down. Dissolution tests measure how quickly the medicine is released. And of course, they are all visually inspected for any flaw, no matter how small. And after all of that, from mixing the gelatin to passing dozens of quality checks, the journey finally ends here. A tiny, perfect capsule, ready to do its job. It's pretty amazing when you think about it. All of that science and precision, all for one very human purpose, our health. So, yeah, the next time you hold one of these in your hand, maybe you'll see it a little differently. Will you think about that remarkable journey of engineering and quality control it took just to get to you?